Donald Trump is having a rough end of the week where we're seeing this mounting Republican effort to kill the brand new billion-dollar-plus fund that could go to convicts, violent people who attack police. So while there is pushback in Congress, the underlying issues are huge. Whether January 6 convicts, people who attacked democracy, Congress, and police, could get this money, because some are already moving for it. Now, I mentioned Congress is one source of pushback. But two of the officers who bravely defended the Capitol that day are also using that position, something that most Americans honored at the time, something that we on this program say is honorable to this day, of course, and that may provide legal standing, which is important for a court process of oversight. They're suing Trump. They say it's the most brazen act of presidential corruption this century, a fund to finance the insurrectionists and groups that commit violence in his name. Harry Dunn testified before the January 6th committee. He is one of the officers taking his time and energy, and even perhaps having to sort of revisit and relive something many would rather not, because he is in the position of, according to his lawyers, having legal standing to fight this thing. And remember, he gave that moving testimony confronting the violence, the horror, the racism of all those people who Trump has now freed from prison and is trying to pay.
One woman in a pink MAGA shirt yelled, "You hear that, guys? This voted for Joe Biden." Then the crowd, perhaps around 20 people, joined in screaming, "Boo!" No one had ever called me while wearing the uniform of a Capitol Police officer.
Harry Dunn, that former Capitol Police officer, who's also now running for Congress in Maryland, joins us now. Welcome. We shouldn't even be here. You shouldn't even be having to spend your energy on this. But you choose to step up, and I think people understand the import of that these days. So I want to start on the kind of personal level, and then hear, of course, about everything else you're thinking. But when did you hear about this plan? What did you think? Yeah. Oh, they're going to pay these people who did all that?
Hey, Ari, well, thanks for having me, brother. Well, let's be clear. This is a campaign promise of Donald Trump's. The pardons were a campaign promise, and he also flirted with the idea about them receiving payments. I think we were aware of this. I'm not surprised by the payments. I don't think I was surprised by, the attempted payments. I don't believe I was surprised by it. And I think also that's why we were able to move so swiftly with this lawsuit. Within 24 hours of it being announced, we were ready to go boots on the ground. We got on the phone with our lawyers. And we obviously, when you file lawsuits like this, you open yourself up to more criticism and, all types of. And was like, no, let's go. We are on the right side of this. And, we understand that it will be an uphill challenge. People have talked about standing. We do believe we have standing. We wouldn't have brought the case if we didn't believe that we could win it. But also on the North Star of this is we are right. We are morally right. The American people are behind this. This is wrong. This isn't like a GoFundMe account. This isn't somebody putting their Cash App information out there and requesting donations. These are American taxpayers' money that are rewarding and further, I think, incentivizing people that attack police officers and, frankly, the American people on January 6th.
You've worn the uniform. You've done the job. You went through that day. Do you think if this fund is not stopped, that it will make the job of being a police officer more dangerous?
Especially, so I equate what Donald Trump is doing right now to somebody paying a retainer fee for a lawyer. When you have a lawyer, you pay a retainer fee for them to have them on standby when you need them. The pardons that Donald Trump gave January 20th of 2025, that was a forgiveness. Hey, we forgive you for what you did in my name, the violence. We pardoned you. Now these payments, I believe, serve as a reward and also an incentive to say, you know what? Look what they did, and now they're getting paid for it. Donald Trump has our back. And you know what? If we stand with him, not only will he forgive us and we won't get in trouble, but we could potentially be rewarded for us. And we believe that's also some of the argument that we're making that gives us standing, because the potential people receiving these payments put our lives in danger.
Yeah, so let's go into the case. Tell us sort of, in plain English, what are you asking the court to do? Because, I cover this stuff. Sometimes the courts say, oh, we got these strict rules. We got to go exactly by the rule. And then other times you go to pandemic, you go to, obviously, the insurrection, and judges have to be practical and say, well, what does standing mean if it doesn't allow police to at least, well, I'm not saying whether you win or lose the case, but at least to get into court and adjudicate this. Otherwise, this thing might not be reviewed in court at all, which seems ridiculous.
Doesn't it seem ridiculous when so many people, like in a world where we're so divided about so many issues right now, I think it's clear that people are not okay with taxpayer money going to reward people who attack police officers. And I don't care if that's people that voted for Trump, that still continue to support him. I mean, look at the pushback we're getting from Republicans. But, but as far as like the stand, so a lot of people know us and know me because I talk about January 6th. I mean, Ari, we're almost 5.5 years from January 6th, and January 6th is still front page news 5.5 years later. When does that ever happen in news? You know why? Because it's so unresolved. It's so, there's been no accountability for it. And American people are pissed off. A lot of times when I'm talking about January 6th, I'm having to respond to the outrageous claims and the actions that this administration and this president is doing. I'm moving on, attempting to run for Congress and continue to fight for my country, fight for my state, Maryland's 5th congressional district. That's what I'm trying to do right now. But I have to take time out of that to stand up in this fight, to file this lawsuit, which we think, like I said, we have a good chance of winning because of, like I said, the death threats that we get. I mean, it just as recent as today, we just continually receive these threats and this hate, all stoked by the former president. And also we bring up some 14th Amendment challenges in this because we think it's illegal. They're providing comfort and aid to insurrectionists.
So I got about 45 seconds left.
Yeah.
There are people who say they're discouraged. It's exhausting. How do you even keep track? What works? Nothing works. And some of them, respect, but some of them haven't been through what you've been through. Yeah. So I want to give you the platform tonight. What do you say to people who feel like that about fighting for democracy?
Yeah, well, I'm not the person to gaslight anybody. A lot of people like to use the term, hey, everything's going to be okay. I don't know if it is, but I do know that if we don't stand up and we don't try to fight back, what's the alternative? We lay down and accept it? No, that's what they want us to do. From everything that they're doing now, stripping the Civil Rights Voting Act, they're trying to do everything they can to get us to roll over. But us showing up and standing up and punching back gives us at least a fighting chance. And that's all we can ask for in this administration.